Planet Zoo 2 continues to impress ahead of its release in October, especially when it comes to aquatics, including today's awesome reveal of the leopard shark. But the more I see about aquariums in Planet Zoo 2, the more I can't get rid of this little question in the back of my head. Where are all the small tanks? Hello you, welcome to Geekism. I'm super excited for Planet Zoo 2, I really am. Whilst I haven't covered every animal reveal like I would Planet Coaster news, mostly because I'm nothing more than a keen idiot when it comes to animals, I have been following development closely, and the new animal models and the new game modes such as the aviaries and the aquariums have me stoked to dive in come October. I just don't have anything to say regarding the reticulated giraffe or the Maasai giraffe. They're both long neck boys, I don't know, they're giraffes, they look great. But one thing I am a little concerned with is the lack of information regarding exhibits, and specifically what that could mean for aquariums. Don't get me wrong, the aquariums in the game look amazing, and every new fish they show us, such as today's reveal of the leopard shark, continues to impress me. From the beautiful lighting shimmering on the tank floor to the clever implementation of schooling fish, I think there is a lot to love here, and I'll be the first in line to put a guest tunnel through a shark tank and spend hours diligently placing hundreds of individual rocks and plants. But as someone who both enjoys aquariums, perhaps even more than zoos, and someone who tries to play these games with an element of implied realism, I can't help wonder how much we'll have to fight the game to make believable aquarium spaces. The huge tank that features a multitude of fish and other aquatic species is the pinnacle of design, form and function of most aquariums, showcasing multiple species living in relative harmony in tanks often exceeding 2 or 3 million litres of water is a great way to cap off a thematic area of an aquarium or the aquarium as a whole. But that's just it. They are the centerpiece, the cherry on top, the big finish. But so far, they're the only type of tank we've been shown in Planet Zoo 2. The majority of aquariums, even the largest, best funded ones that happily sit on the world stage, are mostly made up of smaller, in comparison, tanks that feature single species or fish of small groups of similar species or genus, usually grouped by natural location. These tanks, whilst much bigger than anything most people could own at home, are much smaller in size to the feature tanks that we are seeing here. Most are fed, cleaned and monitored from outside the tank due to space limitations, using top feeding systems or pipes, whereas all mention of tanks in Planet Zoo 2 so far have included the description of an airlock gate for staff to enter. As a complete aside here, but seeing as this is a bit of a rant anyway, I'm in for a penny, I would love to see other options for staff entering larger tanks, most notably a ladder or a gangway system. The airlock, while I understand it from a coding and gameplay point of view, is incredibly unrealistic. One argument for the airlocks is that having a staff member enter the door with normal clothes on and then come out the other side in the wetsuit would look less jarring than some sort of instant Superman-style outfit change on a ladder. But now we've seen that staff do just that before entering the airlock, so even that isn't a positive. It isn't a deal breaker, as I, as well as many others I'm sure, will be happily spending hours hiding those doors and building for show versions of gangways and other behind the scenes equipment. But as with most little things in the Planet games, it would be nice to have a functional option. It was fun to build water sprayers, for example, in Planet Coaster 2, but it's much more fun now that they are functional with guest interactions. But I digress. The big tanks look great, but usually an aquarium will be limited to one or a handful of these larger feature tanks, with those large tanks often serving dual purposes. See how this dangerous lagoon, the largest tank at Toronto's Ripley Aquarium, one of the most well-respected aquariums in North America, has both a walk-through tunnel and multiple other viewing spots, often showing completely separate areas of the same tank. A lot goes into making these big tanks work, especially when it comes to predatory behaviours. These large tanks often house sharks and other predatory fish, sand tiger sharks or nurse sharks for example. They're apex hunters. However, public aquariums successfully house them with certain other fish by fundamentally changing how the predators view their environment and their relationship with food. Sharks and large predatory fish in captivity are raised or trained to eat chunks of already dead meat. Because they do not have to then hunt for survival, they stop associating their moving tank mates with a quick meal. There's also the gape size rule. Predators generally target prey that can easily fit into their mouths. Whilst large aquariums do include some mid-sized fish, truly tiny or small fish are omitted because they trigger that automatic low-effort snapping reflex of larger predators. And finally, they remove vulnerability where they can. Predators naturally target the sick or the weak, Biologists constantly monitor exhibits to immediately remove any fish showing signs of injury or slow swimming before it triggers a predator's hunting instinct. But even with all that, feeding thousands of animals in a single tank without the big fish stealing all the food or eating the other residents requires strict, specialized logistics. And I'm going to look at this now because I think it's an interesting way to look at larger and smaller tanks within the confinements of the game. I'm not expecting any of this to come to the game, especially when it seems the food delivery system in Planet Zoo 2 got most of its mechanics from those t-shirt guns at sports games. Aquarium biologists often use target training to feed large predators. For example, at major facilities, sharks are taught through repetition to swim to a specific visual marker, like a yellow triangle on a stick, to receive food directly from a pole. Predators are kept strictly on schedule and are intentionally well fed. A completely full shark or grouper has very little metabolic motivation to expend any energy chasing their agile tank mates. This food is often stuffed also with custom multivitamins to guarantee the large predators get the exact nutrition they need, removing the biological need to forage for smaller display fish. But it's not just fear of them becoming an afternoon snack that stops aquariums putting small fish in with their larger tank mates. Water naturally distorts and compresses distance. In a massive exhibit that is several meters deep, tiny fish visually just disappear to the human eye, rendering them useless for public display. Large aquariums instead will choose schooling or fast-moving pelagic fish that create a striking visual impact from a distance. And just in general, smaller tanks with single species or a small selection of species that have very similar needs are going to be easier to manage, feed, care for and clean. While some of the smaller fish already shown in Planet Coaster 2 can successfully cohabit in a larger tank, such as the blue tang, there are going to be some heavily requested species of fish and other aquatic creatures that just can't realistically exist in those spaces, such as clownfish, anemones, jellyfish, frogfish, seahorses, garden eels, to name a few. Leaf has done a great video on exhibits in Planet Coaster 2 and how they can be improved. I would very much recommend you checking that out. There will be a link in the description. And some of the smaller fish already revealed on the Zoopedia show both aquarium and exhibit as tags for possible homes. In their most recent article about aquariums, they do point out that complex multi-story or subterranean aquariums can be constructed to add a huge degree of variation to your zoos. You're also going to be able to change the water colour. The tunnels can be built at different heights within a larger tank as well, and they've also pointed out that we can use the invisible or the null barriers and scenery to make naturalistic spaces for aquatic animals just like we can terrestrial ones. So whilst none of this specifically points to being able to make smaller tanks, it is worth remembering that the amount of customization possible in the Planet games usually means we can do whatever we're trying to do, even if a good chunk of it is just for show, meaning it looks cool, but the guests and the staff themselves don't necessarily interact with it. I'm hoping that this, coupled with the lack of actual exhibits shown so far in any gameplay footage, seriously, I think this might be the only one we've seen, this means that they're gearing up to show us a new and improved exhibit system that, in part, allows us to create the 90% of an aquarium leading up to those singular, albeit impressive, show pieces. I guess only time will tell. Thanks to Frontier for letting me take an early look at the leopard shark. It is a beautiful fish and one I'm very excited to build around in October. And thank you for watching. For more overly ranty and under-researched videos about Planet Zoo 2, you can hit subscribe if you haven't already. Love you all to bits. Till the next one, be good.